Hey YouTube, Maddie's Daddy 12, Team JMT, coming to you guys with my latest project. I'm built scraps. I've been trying it out for the last couple weeks. But first I want you guys to check out Chaos X Alchemist, a buddy of mine. Me and him have been hooked up on YouTube a couple times. Check him out. He's actually got a scrap deck posted on his channel also that is very similar to the one that I have built. One of his teammates top 8'd at their recent regional, and apparently me and his teammate have very similar ideas when it comes to scraps. So here we go. 3 scrap chimeras. It's the debris dragon for the deck. You're gonna grab your tuners and you're gonna spam out scrap dragon and scrap archfiend and just good stuff. 3 scrap beast, the main tuner of the deck. I feel 4 stars, earth. And that becomes important later. But yeah, he just helps you spam out Scrap Dragon again. 2 Scrap Goblin. I'm down to 2. I found the third to just kind of clog my hand a little bit and just didn't ever really seem to be useful. I always felt like that my third one would have been more useful if it was something else. So also to make space, I'm down to 2 Goblin. Same thing with Golem. I'm down to 1 Golem from the 2, mainly because I've dropped the 3rd Goblin, which makes Golem less consistent. And then 2, he just seemed to clog my hand. He never really seemed to do good things for me. So, yeah. That's the scrap monsters of the deck. Now we'll move into the non-scraps. I've got Summoner Monk. Excellent card. Dump your spell, grab Scrap Beast, and go into any 8-star that you need at the time. 1 Morphing Jar. I'm not really impressed with this card. He helps me make Natura Beast and Natura Barkion because he's an Earth, but other than that, I'm just not that impressed with him. He helps me dump my dead tuners in my hand. So, I mean, he's good, but I don't know. I'm just not that impressed with it. Most everybody's running the Gravekeeper's engine in this. I'm trying something different, and the same thing that the guy on Chaos X was using. I'm trying 2 legendary Jiu-Jitsu masters. I feel like this affects more of the meta than just the spies. The spies gave you really good results when you were facing a Gravekeeper deck, but this I feel like gives you better results against everybody. And he's an Earth, which makes it easier for you to make Natura Beast. I'm sorry, not Natura Beast, but Natura Barkion. And with Beast, he'll make Barkion. He'll make Landois. I'm sorry, with Goblin, he makes Barkion for you. And with Beast, he'll make Landois for you. So he gets better. This card gets a lot better in this deck in a couple weeks whenever Landois comes out. Next, 1 Spirit Reaper. I feel like everybody needs to be running this card. Just because you run into Sam's and he just says no. He just says, I'm going to stay here. He also says, I'm going to poke in here and grab a card. Just poke in there and grab a card. Next, 2 Effect Veiler. I feel like the meta has made a change to where you almost have to run 2 of these cards. You definitely have to run at least 1. But I feel like you almost have to run 2 of these cards. It's a really good card also. I mean, it's a 1-star tuner if worse comes to worse. On into the spells. Scrap Storm. There's nothing better than summoning a beast and them bottomlessing it, or you attacking and them trying to deprison it, and you dumping Scrap Storm from your hand, dumping your Chimera, grabbing your Chimera, drawing a card. It makes for good plays. 1 Scrapyard, just to grab those tuners when you need them. 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Giant Trunade, because why don't you want to run good cards, you know? I mean, these are such great cards. Why wouldn't you want to run at least 1 of, if not 2 or 3, however many they'll let you run, right? 1 Mind Control. You're running 7 tuners, so you have to have the Mind Control. I also feel like this gives you access to more synchros, because Chimera has to go into a scrap monster. So I feel like this gives you access to Bryo and Cataster and those monsters. Next, if you're not running this in your scraps, you have to try it, because this gives you access to Natura Beast, gives you access to Barkion. It's also free fodder to grab Scrap Dragon and Scrap Twins effect. So, I mean, it's just such good stuff. It's chainable, too. If you already have the Scrap Dragon on the field, you can target this and then grab 4 tokens, and it's just good stuff. Makes for 5 free Scrap Dragons if you can chain it. Scrap Dragon effects, I'm sorry. 1 Book of Moon, once again, chainable. Target their back row, Book of Moon their monster, run it over. 2 MSTs, again, chainable. Target their monster with Scrap Dragon, chain this, blow up their back row. Next, 2 Forbidden Lance. Again, there's nothing better than summoning a Chimera, them trying to bottomless it, and then you protecting it with Lance from your hand, and still going into Scrap Dragon. So, yeah, also it's, again, chainable. You can target it face down, blow up their back row, and shrink their monster for an extra 800. Trap lineup, 1 Solemn Judgment, 2 Solemn Warning. Again, cards that I just feel like you have to run if you want to be competitive in this game. Here I am talking about everything being chainable, and then I run 7 tools over Trap Stun. I feel like Trap Stun gives you the chance to make big pushes. I feel like 7 tools protects you from protects your big pushes. It's also a lot better against Solemn Warning and stuff like that. You can play Trap Stun ahead of time and prevent the Solemn Warning and prevent the Solemn Judgment, or you can just set this and answer the Solemn Warning or answer the Solemn Judgment. Me personally, I just prefer the 7 tools. I feel like it's better against the meta right now than Trap Stun. 1 Mirror Force. 1 Call of the Haunted. There's just nothing better than bringing out one of your tuners, sinking into one of the Scrap Dragon or Scrap Twins, and then targeting the dead Call of the Haunted to destroy their cards. In this deck, I feel like Compulse is better than Bottomless Trap Hole, just because I'll target Compulse, target their back row, and then chain this and bounce their monster. I feel like that's just so good. So yeah, I'm running 2 Compulse over 2 Bottomless in this deck. 2 Dust Tornado, again, target this, target their monster, and then chain this to blow up their back row. This is also really good to get rid of those pesky roll oppressions and stuff like that. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and get into just a few of the synchros. 3 Scrap Dragon. You can't run this deck without 2, but you really need to have 3 in order to run this deck. I only run 1 Scrap Archfiend because I'm only running 2 Goblin, so that makes Scrap Archfiend a lot less consistent. 1 Scrap Twin. I don't ever go into him very much. My biggest play into him is Scrap Golem and then special summoning Scrap Beast, and I just don't do that nearly as often as I thought I would. Mistworm, probably going to be Landois. I got it in there just because I can. 1 Stardust, 1 Colossal Fighter, 1 Black Rose, 1 Arcanite Magician. There are the rare chances that you will have Scrap Goblin and Summoner Monk on the field, and then you do run Mind Control, so you can take your opponent's Lila or Breaker or something along those lines. So, yeah, Arcanite. Bryo, again, Barkion. Several ways to make this in the deck, so you gotta run him. I kind of would run to 2, but he's not nearly as consistent as I thought he was going to be, so only 1 Barkion. 1 Beast, same reason, just not as consistent as I thought it was going to be, but still really, really good. You gotta run it. 1 Cataster and 1 Android. Android, Mistworm, Arcanite, those are cards that may be coming out for Landois and may be coming out for another Scrap Twin. Just don't really know how this deck's going to evolve as far as the extra deck is concerned. So there you go, guys. There's my Scrap Deck. Been pretty good so far. It's been testing really well. If you're running scraps, you got to try this guy out. He's a lot better than what everybody's giving him credit. Try main decking the Lance. I've seen a lot of people not main decking Lance. You got to main deck that Lance. So yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below, show us how much you love us.